Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and we move on with the Cannabis Capital Markets Conference here in Frankfurt. And with me here now is Ben Ward, the CEO of the Wayland Group, and they are already entering and are very successful in the German market. Ben, welcome.
Thanks. Glad to be here.
Yeah, great to have you here. Let's dive into your company. What is the company about? Maybe you can give us in 3-4 sentences a short overview about the Wayland Group.
Sure. We're a licensed medical cannabis producer in Canada and recreationally, and we've taken our Canadian template and model and now moved that to Germany and to Switzerland as well. We have a large hemp operation in Germany and an indoor cultivation area in Switzerland, and we provide products to the national markets there.
Fantastic. So where in Germany, where in Switzerland? Because I live in Switzerland and I am German, actually.
Our operations in Germany are in the Dresden area, just outside, and then our hemp farm that we're growing on is in the Leipzig area, and then in our head office is in Munich. And then in the Zurich area, our operation is in Regensdorf, just by the airport, in an underground bunker, conveniently.
I love that. And you can fastly fly in and fly out it.
Exactly.
If needed. No, but I'm joking. Okay, super. Well, that sounds phenomenal. But you are originally, of course, from Canada. So from where have you started the business?
Yeah, we started the business in an area called Langton, Ontario, about 2 hours southwest of Toronto, in a traditionally agricultural area. They grew tobacco and different commodities like that, and then we established a cannabis cultivation operation there 5 years ago, and we were one of the first licensees from Health Canada to operate.
Wow. Okay. And the first licensee, so obviously you are a large company, of course. Can you give us a bit some metrics and sizes? How much you are growing? What are the plans you are growing in 2019? And then we move on also with Europe.
Yeah, right now in Canada we have a 217,000 square foot expansion that we're now growing in and moving into the rest of the facility. Total 261,000 square feet, or around 26,000 square meters.
How much kilograms does that give?
36,000 kilograms that gives us per year, and we're already engaged in building the next phase of the expansion. It's modular. We're adding on to that, and then that will give us over 95,000 kilos of production by the end of 2019.
Wow, that's a lot. And may I ask you, what is the estimated all-in cost, let's say per kilogram or per gram?
Our estimated all-in costs are $1.34 per gram.
Well, that's a lovely cost, I would say.
Yeah, it's very low because we use automation for our facility. We partnered with Rockwell Automation, one of the largest automation providers in the world, and we only need 26 people to operate our cultivation facility, whereas other competitors of the same size facility will need 300 to 400 employees. So our costs are severely reduced by using automation and then by using our control platform that's exclusive to us to be able to produce cannabis. And we use less water, we use less electricity because we built the facility in a very environmentally sustainable way.
So environmentally sustainable, is it like that you grow the plants in a solution, or is it still in soil? Meaning, is it like organic?
We grow in rock wool, and then we add the nutrients through water in an ebb and flood system, but we recycle the water, and then we filter it in our own biopond, a biofilter, and then we use the same water again and recapture. So we only create 10,000 liters of wastewater a year, whereas
That's nothing.
It's nothing. We use over 1.5 million liters of water per day. So we recapture the water. We have our own natural gas, electricity cogeneration facility on site that reduces our electrical costs down to 4.5 cents Canadian per kilowatt hour, whereas our if we buy from the grid, it's 17 to 24 cents. And then we take all of the byproduct, all of the CO2 from the natural gas cogeneration facility, and we scrub that and feed it to the plants. So we have a complete closed loop system.
What? That sounds like a really environmental plan.
It is.
Fantastic. I really like that because this is, I would call, this is really sustainable cultivation.
Yes, it is. I mean, what is said is the dirty secret about our green business is it's not very green. It's not very environmentally sustainable. In our case, we've made it so it's environmentally responsible.
Fantastic, great. Automation is one thing, which I think it's outstanding that you have that less people to really do that all. But you said also you are growing that modular. So what do I have to understand from that?
Yeah, so we built the infrastructure in the first phase of the facility, and then we can just add on more rooms as we go of 1,100 square meters. And we can keep adding on those rooms for cultivation because we have all the infrastructure up front in place in the first area of the building.
I see. Oh, that's fantastic. So that means also investment wise, it's, I would call it you need the money not all at once. You can take it in steps, right?
Yeah, we can build on cash flow.
Yeah.
So we've chosen to take more equity in the recent weeks, but that's to expand our international plans. And then we can build at the facility when and as needed.
Okay, super. Then cash flow, we already start to talk about some numbers because I think this is finally the essence for investors, of course. I mean, we saw the internet bubble. There was a lot of dream and hope and hot air and whatever, and some companies really survived. Some large companies came out of that, but I think the cannabis sector is, I would say, totally different into the internet bubble, yeah? Because we talk about medical, we talk about recreational, so we talk about a real sustainable business in the end, yeah? And as far as I understand, you guys can make money very fast. Of course, you have a first investment, yeah, to really get that. So what is the financial situation of your group, first thing? And secondly, what do you expect for revenues and, let's say, also for profit next year?
For revenues next year, we expect to be around 160 million Canadian. This quarter, in the fourth quarter, we expect to be around 15 million Canadian. And it's a long process. I tell people it's like having a baby. You have to build the facility first, you have to incubate and then grow. So what we've done is invest in significant capital expenditure for our facility. Those are all coming online now, and the production is much greater than we've had in the past, so we expect exponential growth. We have some of the largest agreements with provinces in Canada, and then we have the largest agreement for export to Europe with Canada Medical in Germany of 9,000 kilos over 3 years. We're one of 5 producers globally who is EU GMP certified and compliant.
Fantastic.
So we can sell product into the European market.
Yeah, this must give you also, let's call it a nice margin.
It gives us a better margin than we experience in Canada. In Canada, we're competing against over 100 licensed producers. They have to meet high standards, which are called good production practices. But to meet EU GMP standards and to be authorized, you have to go above and beyond. So we're only competing against 4 other groups. So margin is somewhat better for now.
What means somewhat better, like 30, 40, 50%? I'm a number guy, sorry.
It's almost 100% better margin.
Okay, super. Compared to what in Canada?
Compared to an average wholesale price of around $5 to $6 in Canada.
Okay, super. Oh, that's perfect. So let's come to Europe, because it looks to me like, you are the first guys really entering here now, Germany, I would call it. And also from here, maybe you have a good chance to conquer the European markets. Yeah. What are your plans for this now, and how does it work, and how much money you need to enter those markets?
To enter each market, it depends how much cash we need. We were able to pick up a facility in the Dresden area for 3.4 million euro.
That's decent, I would say.
Reasonable cost. It cost Cargill 80 million euro to build 20 years ago. So it's perfect for our purposes of growing cannabis and then processing cannabis. And the Dresden area offers a lot of economic advantages. So Germany is a relatively low-cost market for us to enter, at least from the facility and production side. The marketing side, it's quite expensive to penetrate the German market and with many different pharmacies. So working with distributors is helpful. For each new facility that we build, it's around 20 million Canadian. In the case of Germany, the maximum we'll have to spend is around 8 million because we have this facility in Dresden that's unique and has been helpful to us. But in new markets, typically we see a requirement for around 20 million euro.
Okay. And you said you did some equity raising. That means now you have the money to really fulfill your working plans for 2019, plus the cash flow, of course, but meaning you are financially in a sound status,
yes,
right?
We're in a very sound sound area. The bought deal financing is for $57 million, and that gives us enough cash to execute our business plan. I'm not saying we would never raise more equity. We could, based on accretive opportunities, but
exactly.
There's a lot of international expansion opportunity.
Super. To what extent do you think you can grow the business? I mean, for next year you said 160 million approximately revenues, and on what growth path you think you can move the business the next 2, 3, 4 years? Because more and more competitors are coming into the market, of course. I read in the analysis of Canaccord, I think it was written in, the government wants by year-end license for 200 LPs now. Probably something might happen here too, that more and more companies get licensed. What is your view on that?
My view on that is many companies will be licensed and many companies will produce cannabis. There's more funded capacity in the country than there is demand, even though Canada is completely sold out of recreational cannabis right now. That will catch up. I just think a lot of those facilities will never get built and a lot of that production won't come online. Many of these companies are too late to the game. We already have a great head start. We've been selling into the market since December of 2014.
You're a first mover,
we understand the processes, the procedures, and then we have the ability to export. So it's very telling that only 5 of us in Canada have EU GMP certification, and we think that many of the groups who come on, their quality systems, I've been to many other facilities. One of them that I've gone to recently, I had to burn my clothes and throw my shoes away after because there's so many diseases in the plants. I could never introduce that to our facility. So I think that you see, as we were talking about the internet bubble before, just a difference in quality in companies. From those who have taken the time to plan, like us, build properly, build a sustainable business, not just built on stock market hype.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you
That's
have
important.
groups that have taken press releases to move their market caps up, but really focus on building a business. So
exactly.
I think we'll see a lot of failures, just like we did in the dot-com boom, but we'll also see massive successes, and we expect to be one of those successes.
Fantastic. So can your shareholders then, let's say, expect in the future a dividend maybe?
It's too early to talk about a dividend in this space. It's
No, of course, that is too early. But it's 4 or 5 years, whatever, you are settled, you're really making money. Yeah.
We'll see what the board of directors says.
Okay, super. As we have a lot of investors watching us, and as you know, Commodity TV is worldwide, of course. Let's come from the investor side. What would you say makes your company really different to the other companies? What separates you from your competitors?
It's our patented VesiSorb technology that we have global rights to. That's the real differentiation. When you ingest cannabis, normally you have to process it in your liver. It takes 45 minutes to 90 minutes to absorb, and then you get a very erratic effect. With our technology, we make the fat-soluble compound, the cannabinoids, water-soluble. So they can absorb in your stomach, they can absorb in your intestinal lining, and you get uptake within 5 to 15 minutes, and then you have 6 to 7 times greater absorption into the bloodstream. So that's a patented technology. It was developed at the Zurich Institute of Technology. And
Swiss proven?
Swiss proven.
Love that.
It's in many applications by Roche, by Bayer, by Nivea. So it can be used both topically for greater absorption and then for consumption. So beverages, edibles, capsules. Our capsules are on the market now in Germany today with VesiSorb for CBD, and it's really our differentiating factor.
Fantastic. Last question, because you just brought up Roche, and you know I'm living in Switzerland, so I'm used to Novartis, Roche, Clariant, Syngenta, etc., and also like Bayer or Merck here. Why have the large pharmaceutical companies not stepped into that market already?
I think they're waiting to look and see who and what will be successful and to prove out. And then
take it over?
Well, we'll see. Then step into it in some type of a partnership arrangement and see what happens. But I think they're taking a wait-and-see approach. It's too new yet. And then as further legalization come in more territories, they'll get more comfortable with it.
Fantastic. So there will be maybe in the future also a little bit of M&A activity.
I think we'll see a lot of M&A activity in the space, and it's not just limited to beverage and alcohol companies. You have functional beverages, you have lifestyle companies who want to promote a brand, pharmaceutical companies, then you have food companies and consumer packaged good companies. So you never know where we never know where a partnership can come from.
That's right. How do you rate the step of Altria? Let's say, going more now towards also the cannabis market. I mean, we saw Constellation Brands already. I heard Coca-Cola is really heavily in talkings. I heard that Red Bull for Mateschitz, they are also thinking about stuff like that. I mean, those are established world brands with multi-billion-dollar sales. How do you rate those movements from those multinational players now towards the sector?
I think that we see the sector moving and advancing, and it's really taking the black market, what exists underground, taking that above ground, legalizing it, and then moving through regular distribution channels. So for large distributors and companies who have that type of capability, cannabis is a natural choice once legal. I think that the biggest issue we have is the public perception in many companies and not wanting to be involved in cannabis yet. But once they get to the point where they realize that this is a great opportunity and that it actually can improve people's lives, then they become more comfortable with it. Fantastic, super.
Last question, not really last question. How do you see supply-demand balances? Because I was a bit confused when I read through the various researches which are available. Yeah, first it looked a little bit like that we have like 17th October in Canada. Yeah, on the 18th I was with my wife in the car driving, and I heard sold out after hours. 4 hours you had to wait in the queue, and my wife said, "Is Canada getting stoned now?" And I said, "No, that's really different." Yeah, but I mean, how do you see supply-demand developments? Because I hear, we produce 100,000 kilos, we produce 80,000. Then I had a company here which said next year they produce 255,000 kilograms. What is your view on that?
I think we'll have a significant amount of supply, but that will come into balance in the market. I think that the Canadian provinces, the governments who buy the product from us, severely underestimated the demand for product in the country. Being sold out day one, everything was gone.
Yeah.
So I think that we'll see that demand is more significant than we ever thought. But at the same time, I think that some of the companies that are coming on late, their facilities will never be built and we'll never see product. So I think we'll see the quality, the cream really rising to the top.
Fantastic. Super. Ben, thank you very much. That was really fantastic interview. I enjoyed it. I have to do some research about your company.
Perfect. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, there was Ben Ward, the CEO of the Wayland Group, and you heard it. The guys have done everything right. They are a company like the first mover, started in 2014 in the cannabis business. Now, really internationally, I wouldn't only say licensed, but really working internationally, working worldwide, not only Canada, the US, but also here now conquering Europe. And they are one of a few medical licensed companies here in Germany already, with plants in Germany and also in Switzerland. So I would say check out the company. Thanks for watching us. Bye-bye from Frankfurt.